Imagine planting a seed just once. And that seed grows into a tree that feeds you for the rest of your life, without you having to water it every day. Fiction? No. That's the principle behind an automated income system. And what if I told you that seed is already within you? In the next 14 minutes, we're going to break down, step by step, the method for building such a system. Forget clichés and shortcuts. We'll follow a story, one inspired by real events, to understand the deep mechanics behind automated value creation. This is a game-changing approach. Stay tuned until the very end, because the seventh and final step completely redefines what the word work means. Chapter 1, The Seed, or Identifying Your Dormant Skill. It all starts here. Not with a groundbreaking idea, but with something you already possess. A dormant skill. It's that talent, that passion, that knowledge you practice so naturally that you no longer even consider it a skill. For our story, let's call our protagonist Leo. Leo wasn't a finance expert, nor a tech genius. His passion was cartography and design. For years, for friends' birthdays or going-away parties, he'd create personalized maps of their favorite cities or neighborhoods. He'd spend hours on them, choosing colors, drawing icons for important places, tracing streets with an artist's precision. His friends loved them. They'd often say, "You should sell these." But for Leo, it was simply a pleasure, a gift. He didn't see the systemic value of his expertise. That's what a dormant skill is. What you do purely for pleasure, what people compliment you on, that thing you could talk about for hours. It doesn't have to be spectacular. It could be how you organize your trips, how you prep your meals for the week, how you create music playlists, or even how you decorate a small space. So, the first step isn't to look for an idea outside yourself, but to look within. What is your seed? Pause this video for a second if you need to and think about it. This realization is the true starting point of any system. For Leo, it was the art of transforming geographical data into an aesthetic and personal work. But be careful, having a seed isn't enough. A seed alone yields nothing. You have to plant it in the right soil. Chapter 2, Standardization, or How to Transform Art into a Process. Leo's problem, and that of many passionate individuals, was that each map was unique, handcrafted. He poured his heart into them, but also all his time. Trading time for value is the classic model. But that's not an automated system. For a system to work without you, it must be based on a process, not on your constant presence. Leo had to face a difficult question: how can I capture the essence of my work, without having to redo everything each time? This is where standardization comes in. He started by deconstructing his art. What made his maps special? It wasn't just the street layouts. It was his typography style, his color palette, his collection of unique icons for parks, cafes, monuments. He spent several weeks, not creating a new map, but creating a map building kit. He drew hundreds of icons, created several harmonious color themes, and selected fonts that worked well together. Essentially, he transformed his artistic expertise into a series of Lego bricks. Now, to create a personalized map, he no longer had to draw everything from scratch. He could assemble his own bricks. He had just created a process. This is a crucial and often overlooked step. We're so in love with our creation that we're afraid to systematize it. But standardizing doesn't mean losing quality. It means becoming more efficient and allowing others to benefit from your expertise on a larger scale. Your dormant skill must be translated into a method, a recipe, a template. Whatever your field, ask yourself, how can I break down my expertise into reusable elements? It's the transition from craftsmanship to architecture. But this is only the second step, and the biggest revolution is yet to come. Chapter 3, The First Lever, The Magic of Digitalization. Leo had his kit, his process. But he was still stuck. To deliver a map, he still had to spend time assembling it, even if it was faster. The system wasn't autonomous yet. Here's the real turning point. How do you deliver this value without being physically or temporally present? The answer lies in digitalization. Leo realized he shouldn't be selling finished maps, but the map-building kit itself. He transformed his icons, color palettes, and layout templates into digital files, PDFs, files for design software, high-resolution images. The product was no longer a physical object or a personalized service. It was a digital asset, infinitely reproducible, with no extra cost. A file can be copied and sent 1,000,000 times. The effort remains the same as for a single send. This is the most powerful leverage of our era. Digitalization allows you to separate value from your time. Think about it. A travel guide you wrote once can be sold thousands of times. A training program you filmed once can be followed by people all over the world, simultaneously. A piece of music you composed can be streamed indefinitely. It was at this point that Leo stopped thinking like an artist and started thinking like a system architect. He spent a month perfecting his files, writing clear instructions so that anyone, even without extensive design skills, could use his kit to create their own beautiful map. The product was ready. But a product, even a digital one, doesn't sell itself. It lacked the engine. Chapter 4: The Autonomous Ecosystem, Choosing the Right Platform. A digital product is great. But if you have to answer every email, manually send every file, and manage every payment, you're not a system creator. You're just a vendor with a shop open 24/7, and that's exhausting. Leo quickly understood this. He needed an ecosystem that would work for him. So he looked for online platforms designed for digital product creators. He discovered marketplaces where he could simply upload his files once. These platforms were designed to automate everything. They presented the product with images and a description, securely managed payments, and, most importantly, instantly and automatically delivered the files to the customer after purchase. At any time of day or night. Whether Leo was sleeping, having dinner with friends, or out for a walk, the system was working. He launched his first city map creation kit. Choosing the right platform is fundamental. It's the engine of your car. Without it, you have a beautiful chassis that goes nowhere. You need to find where the people who need your solution already are, and which offers a complete automation infrastructure. For some, it will be an online course platform. For others, a design marketplace, or even a digital book distribution platform. The goal is simple. Once your product is online, you shouldn't have to intervene in the transaction and delivery process. This is the sine qua non condition for the system to be truly autonomous. And that's where things get really interesting. Chapter 5: The Snowball Effect, Continuous Value Creation. The first sales started coming in. Slowly at first, then more regularly. Leo was fascinated. He had created something that generated value without his direct intervention. Many people would stop there, satisfied. But the true power of a system is making sure it feeds and grows itself. This is the snowball effect. Leo noticed that his customers liked his basic kit, but some asked for specific icons for restaurants, for museums, or even for sports activities. Instead of fulfilling custom orders, which would have taken him back to square one, he applied the same systemic logic. He created new thematic expansion packs. A gastronomy pack, a culture pack, a nature pack. Each of these packs was a new small digital product, sold separately, but which increased the value of the base kit. Customers who had bought the first kit were naturally interested in the extensions to enrich their maps. And new customers discovered a complete ecosystem, not just an isolated product. That's the snowball effect. Each new element you add to the system doesn't just add to it, it multiplies the value of the whole. Your system becomes more robust, more attractive, and develops organically. It's like adding paths in a garden. The more paths there are, the more interesting the garden becomes to explore. Think about your own skill. If you create a guide, can you create complementary resource sheets? If you compose music, Can you offer sheet music or instrumental versions? The question to ask is, how can I create assets that connect with each other and mutually reinforce one another? But even the best systems need a guardian. Chapter 6, the System Guardian, or Efficient Minimal Maintenance. Beware of the biggest trap of all, believing that automatic means abandoned. A beautiful garden left unattended will eventually be overrun with weeds. Even a well-designed system needs a guardian. Not a full-time worker, but an attentive caretaker. Leo established a very simple routine, 1 hour, every Sunday morning. No more. During this hour, he did 3 things. First, he read the few questions or comments from his customers. Sometimes, a recurring question would give him the idea for a new expansion pack or an improvement to his instructions. This was a valuable source of information. Secondly, he checked that everything was technically working on the platform. Were the files downloading correctly? Was the presentation page still clear? Simple preventative maintenance. Thirdly, he looked at what had worked well during the week, to understand what his customers appreciated most. This hour wasn't work in the traditional sense. It was an act of maintenance, like a gardener pruning a dead branch or watering a thirsty plant. It's minimal effort for maximum impact. The key is to define a strict framework for this maintenance. 1 hour a week, 30 minutes every 3 days. The goal isn't to get sucked back into day-to-day operations, but to keep the system healthy and performing long-term. It's discipline that ensures the longevity of your freedom. And this freedom is the culmination of this entire story. Chapter 7, Liberation, or the True Purpose of the System. And here we are at the most important point, the one that gives meaning to everything else. For months, Leo had focused on building the system. But one day, he realized something profound. The ultimate goal had never been to generate passive income to do nothing anymore. The goal was to buy something far more precious, time. Free time, liberated from the constraints of the time for money exchange. And the real question became, what to do with this time? Leo used this newfound freedom to do what he loved most, travel. He went to explore cities he had always dreamed of, not for week-long vacations, but for stays of several months. He spent his days getting lost in the streets, sketching in his notebooks, soaking in the architecture and atmosphere. And naturally, this exploration fed his passion. He started creating new map kits inspired by his travels, the Kyoto kit, the Lisbon kit, the Mexico kit. Each trip became a source of inspiration that fed his system. And the system, in return, financed his travels and gave him the time to create. He had created a virtuous cycle. Liberation isn't early retirement on a beach. It's the ability to reinvest your time into your passion, into your learning, into your relationships, thereby creating a cycle where your life enriches your system, and your system enriches your life. This is where the concept of work disappears, to be replaced by creative contribution. To conclude, building an automated income system isn't a magic formula. It's a shift in perspective. It's the art of transforming a dormant skill into a digital asset, hosted by an autonomous ecosystem, which grows through a snowball effect, and that you maintain with minimal effort. And all this, with one single goal, to free up your time so you can dedicate yourself to what truly matters. It's moving from pushing the wheelbarrow to designing the irrigation system. The seed is within you. You just have to decide to plant and cultivate it. Save this video so you don't forget. Don't forget to subscribe.